I don't know if this one is actually going to make it. I'm not real sure about this series, but not for the reasons that I originally thought that it wasn't going to make it. Let's talk about
And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I want to pull my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What,
Okay, guys, I'm speaking about Lucifer. This is actually season 1. This is episode 1. Now, originally, I thought there was going to be a problem with this series because of the subject matter. Now, I'm all here for it. When I seen the trailers, it looked very interesting. Lucifer being, the dark prince, being here present day amongst us, carrying on. So it was interesting to me. But I knew that there would be some problems, some backlash, and that kind of thing is what I was expecting. Now I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure it's going to make it, and for reasons that it's not the dark, demonic thing that I was thinking it was going to be, that I actually had hoped that it would be. And I think it's just the writer in me that I had all these ideas of what it could be and what it would most possibly be, Anyway, let's just get into it. When we first come in, you come into a black screen, and it just basically says, in the beginning, the angel Lucifer was cast out from heaven and condemned to rule hell for all eternity. And then it goes on, and it says, until he decided to have a vacation. So I'm like, okay, so we see there's a little satire that's actually going to be taking place in this. So the first thing we actually see Lucifer, who he is the actor. He's, I think he's British. He has an accent, really, really sharp. He has a real heavy sex appeal to him, and he's really got a lot of swag, whole lot of swag. Good looking guy, and he's being pulled over by the police, and we find out right away it was for speeding. We find out right away he has a way of basically making you tell your dark truth. Is basically what it is. He can, not basically make you, it's not a mind control thing. It's just literally pull your dark truth, your darkest truth out from you. Okay, fine. I'm cool with that. Corny, but I'm cool with it. So he basically talks his way out of this ticket, getting a ticket, and he gets the police officer to accept the bribe. We get there, we find out that he actually owns a club, and right away, his club is like Sodom and Gomorrah. Everything is going on inside this club. When we first come in, she's a demon. She's a demon. She's a bartender, and she's literally having her pussy sucked by another bartender while she's leaning up against the bar. I said, bitch, you better get your life. Okay, as she turns around, she's talking to Lucifer, and then we actually see everything kind of like slows down, and then we actually see it's another dark angel comes in, and he's big and black and bald and yum and yeah, and he comes in and he's basically telling Lucifer, you need to be getting back, Father wants you to be getting back to hell right away because nobody's manning what's going on down there. And if there's nobody running them, of course, where are they coming? To the upper world. They're going to leave from the underworld. So whatever. But of course, he's not supposed to be hanging out here. So we got that whole thing going on. So you can see there's like a little struggle between those two. And then Lucifer's getting all cute and smart because he's real cute and he's real fast. His mouth is, his tongue is terrible. But he told me, he says, when are you planning on going back? He said, oh, that'll be the 7th of never and right through the 15th of ain't going to happen, And he's like, well, what about the people that are down there? What about all the torture stories? He's like, I don't care. I'm over it. I don't care. I'm done with all that bullshit. So that's kind of where they're at with that. baby, he got to talking all smart to him. And the other one, big old black angel wings. Okay, now don't judge me, but I got a thing about black feathered wings. Okay, anyway, but these wings, and there's like spikes on the end, and it like snatched Lucifer's ass up by his throat, and yeah, he basically lets you know, I'll fucking do your ass. Don't play. And he's like, Father wouldn't like that. He definitely wouldn't like that. So there's this little struggle between those two. We see that. So then this girl, he leaves. This girl named Delilah shows up. Delilah, we find out, she's a singer, very famous, popular singer, and an actress, and a fucking junkie. Okay, so she's a junkie. We found out right away Lucifer got a little soft spot for her. He likes Delilah. He's actually put Delilah on the road to better things. This is where my first discrepancy comes. And we figured this out because he's talking to her real nice. She's like, did I sell my soul to the devil? And this kind of thing. And he's like, no, you really didn't. You know, this, that, thing, the other. And he's like, I need a favor from you. I said, okay, come on, here we go with the goddamn devil shit. Let's go. And he tells her, I want you to get yourself together. And I'm like, the fuck kind of devil is this? Whatever. So I'm still rolling and rocking with it. She's like, I am. So you see them walking out, and he's saying, she's like, I'm really going to do it, Lucifer. And he's using his real name, Lucifer Morningstar. And that's the funny part about him. Let me just tell you all. He walks through LA. He's in LA. He walks all over LA, and he tells people the truth. But people just don't believe him. They're like, you're crazy. Oh, go on. And he calls everybody, you people, you humans, this, that, thing, and the other. And that just cracked me up because he literally is speaking his truth and nobody is buying. But everybody's like, whatever. So anyway, him and Delilah are walking out. Next thing you know, they're in the midst of a drive-by. And the target was Delilah. And the guy took her on out. And of course, he hit her, bap, 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 hit them both. They both fall out. Well, of course, Lucifer ain't going for that. So, baby, the car that the guy was in speeds out, bam, gets hit by the bus, and the bus drags the car to fuck on back down to the street, down the street where they were. And he gets out, and he's like, no, don't die yet. And he's asking them questions. Why would you do that? Why would you? He goes, I'm just the one that pulled the trigger. He's like, and why? He's like, money. So he has a watch, this expensive watch on. Lucifer's like, whatever. And he goes on and he dies. So then we end up, I'm like, okay, this shit's going left. So then we meet Chloe. Chloe is a female detective. And we found out there's another guy, this is a detective, Dan. Dan tells Chloe, this is easy. Cut and dry. Close this one up. She's a junkie. He's a drug dealer. Boom, bam, done. Drug related, it's done. She's saying, that don't sound right. So she wants to dig further into it. So she goes in and she ends up, and Dan tells her something about Palmetto Street. We're like, what the fuck does that mean? Come to find out later, Palmetto Street, there was a whole situation on Palmetto Street where she wanted to dig further into what actually happened. There was a cop that was killed, and she wanted to dig further into what had happened, and it kind of blew up in her face. And now nobody really wants to work with her. Like, nobody wants to be a partner. Everybody's like, that bitch is meddlesome. Go on. So anyway, she goes in to meet Lucifer because he's naturally the one eyewitness. And she goes in, and she's asked him questions, and she's asked him about why he don't have any scars and nothing happened to him and all this. Then he keeps... he's having this smart mouth. Have me and you had sex? I swear I've seen you naked. This, that, thing, the other. He's just going back and forth. And he said, someone needs to be punished. And you can tell he's really bothered by the fact that she got killed. Okay? And they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he's like, somebody has to be punished. And she's like, well, why aren't you? You don't have no bullets, no scratches, no scars, no scrapes, no nothing. And he's like, immortality. I mean, he just basically tells her the truth that naturally she's not buying it. So they go on and on and on. We come to find out later on, Chloe actually was an actress, first of all. So that's where he knew her from. She was in some B-rated movie, and she was naked in the movie, and all of this kind of carrying on. So we end up, there's this whole little scene where Lucifer decides to go to her producer, the producer that she worked with, Jimmy. Jimmy was actually dating the little child that got Delilah. He dated Delilah, and he wanted to know what was going on and if he thought Jimmy had something to do with it. Baby, he goes in and he literally crashes Jimmy's wedding. I mean, crashes the wedding. It was terrible. He walks in right when they're saying, does anybody have anything to say, you know, before the priest, you know, finishes off the ceremony, and he walks in and just shuts the goddamn wedding down. And of course, pulling dark truths, and he's talking to Jimmy, and he's saying, you know, what happened with Delilah, blah, 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 blah. Jimmy's like, no, I ain't got nothing to do with it. She was cheating on me. She was cheating with the rapper 2Val, this, that, and the other. So in the midst of him being in the wedding, he told the damn priest, oh, this is all overrated. And tell my father I said hi. I ain't talked to him in a while, and this, that, and the other. And of course, everybody's just thinking he's just crazy. But no, he ain't crazy. He just smug, but he ain't crazy. And he's looking at the bride, and he gonna say, yeah, he's like, Jimmy, you're up in here, and everybody know you're fat and nasty, you know, and you got this beautiful girl. And then, of course, he looks at the girl and has her, she reveals what she's thinking, and she's like, I really want to sleep with him tonight, looking at Lucifer. And Jimmy's looking like, you know, and she will say, well, Jimmy, don't try to act. He says, Jimmy, don't try to act like you're surprised. She said, honey, do you really like him? And she's like, oh, God, no. And she's like, oh, I can't believe I just said that. I'm like, this is just too much satire, okay? It's more, this show is more of a damn comedy than anything else. It's not a dark anything. It's just comedy for the most part. Anyway, next we go to 2Val. We see her. Of course, he's like this rapper, and he's got the whole hardcore thing, and they in there with guns, and they all thugged out, and all this bullshit. Lucifer rolled her, so I don't like your motherfucking music, and it ain't got nothing to do with the fact that I don't like black people. I ain't got no problem with it, black people. I don't like your motherfucking music. And when I say your music, I don't mean black people's music. I'm talking about your music specifically, motherfucker. I don't like your music. So they go back and forth, and he's getting all smart with Lucifer, and he gonna say, you tell me what you know about Delilah. Well, that motherfucker made that mistake. He gonna say, you want to get killed, don't you? So you got all these thugs, and they up in there, they got their guns out and shit. And Lucifer said, whatever, you tell me what you know about Delilah and quit playing games before I get mad, you know. So smart ass 2Val said, oh, what I know about her, the bitch is dead. Lucifer snatched that motherfucker, and they were in this big condo. All the wind, it was all glass. Like, everything was glass. He literally walked that motherfucker right out that glass, the whole glass wall, out onto the balcony, and slung his ass over there, and he got the bag. And I said, oh, not so tough anymore. He begged and told me, I really didn't do it. I ain't kill her. I ain't put no hit out on her. I ain't did shit. He said, she was cheating on me too. You know, this, that thing, and the other, on. So I hit her before, but, you know, I stopped all that stuff for real. You know, all this and all that. And the people were shooting at him. He's saying, stop shooting at him, damn fool. He hanging me over this thing. Y'all shooting at him. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So he pulls him out. Come back in. Here we find out Detective Chloe had been tailing Lucifer. So she's in there, and she's like, we're going to make arrests, this, that thing, and the other. And he tried to read Chloe while he was there, and we found out that he can't read Chloe for some reason. He can't read her. Can't get her to do anything. She's a smart ass too. So that was that. That all got shut down. They end up, she leaves the people at the party alone. She's now going to take Lucifer to jail. They get downstairs. He goes back and forth with her. They banter back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. She's trying to figure out how he did things that he did. And he's like, I got a gift for, I'm immortal, and I got a gift for making people tell me their dark secrets. That's just the way it is. So she's like, okay, so they agree that he's going to tag along with her for a little bit to try to find out what happened to Delilah, because she don't believe it's cut and dry. So we're like, okay, cool, no problem. So they go in the car. They're going to go see this other person that she was supposedly messing with. Because he told her to go see her therapist. That was what happened next. Go see her therapist is what Tuval said. See her therapist, because that's probably who knows, because she don't tell secrets. They get a little call. Chloe got to go make a stop. She ends up stopping by the school. When they get to the school, Lucifer, first thing he says, I despise children. So they go inside the school. He followed a skirt inside the school because he was in the car. He followed a skirt inside the school, and sees these little girls in there. And there's this cute little girl with the front teeth missing, and her name is actually Trixie. That's not her real name, but that's kind of her nickname. And he sees her, she's talking to him, and she's like, you can't smoke in here, honey. Because, if you do, he's like, and what's somebody going to do? He said, my daddy's a cop. My daddy could come and take you to jail about smoking up in here, honey. So she's a real little witty little thing. Cute as a button. Him and her going back and forth. He's telling her, what's your name? And she said, what's your name? He said, my name is Lucifer. She said, like the devil. He gonna say exactly. So automatically he didn't want to liking Trixie. She gonna say, oh, that damn Trixie. So he says, what's happening? Why are you out here? Says, see that girl over there? She's a bully. And some old shit that Trixie had done told, and she done whooped Trixie's ass, and Trixie done told and got the girl in trouble. The girl's a bully. So Lucifer says, oh, okay. So he goes over. Oh, and he told her, well, she said her name was Trixie. He said, that's a hooker's name. And she said, what's a hooker? He said, ask your mother. So goes over, and he looks at the little girl, and he goes and says, hey, you're a bully. This, that, the other. The little girl got smart, and he made his eyes turn red, and it looked so phony. I was so pissed off. And the little girl was screaming. So at this point, by that time, Chloe comes out. We find out Chloe is Trixie's mom. And then Detective Dan is Trixie's dad. So they actually had got together, had a baby, and they then broke up, but now they're co-parenting and the whole thing. So she's actually handing Trixie off to Dan. Dan's taking him to her mother, and Dan's like, what are you doing with him? This, that, thing, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And they got that whole thing going on. Their relationship ain't good. They co-parenting. Trixie likes Lucifer. She's like crazy about Lucifer. Lucifer, he like her, but he didn't want to say it, And Trixie says, hey, mommy, what is a hooker? So she immediately looks at Lucifer like, I know good and well you the one to introduce her to that word. He turned around and looked and said, okay. And the mother, Chloe, says, ask your daddy. And her and Lucifer go on off. So I laughed at that. Again, this is more of a comedy than anything else. So I don't think it's going to be snatched off the air for the Bible thumpers being mad. I really don't. So anyway, we go to the therapist. We get to the therapist. It's a female. She's a closet whore. Okay. She's a closet whore. So of course, he gets right through to her, promises to fuck her real good, suck her pussy. And, gets the information because she didn't want to give. She said, I can't give you the information. She said, oh, it's so juicy. She's going on and on. And then he's like, what, you want me to bang that pussy up? And she's like, oh, yeah, and I know yoga. And this, that, thing, and the other. Oh, she was a closet whore. And so they went through all that. She's like, okay, so she ended up telling it. Gray Cooper, who was an actor, is who she was actually cheating on Tuval with. So we're like, okay. So then Lucifer's like, okay, well, Chloe, you go ahead on out. I got to keep now. He said, I keep my word now. I got to keep my promise. You just hold on, wait on outside the door. He said, you want me to stand outside while you get... He was like, yeah. So she was like, bullshit. I'm out of here, this, that, the other. So he tells her, that's okay. I'm going to take a rain check, but I'm going to be back to bang that pussy out up. Like, oh, Jesus. Okay. And I'm paraphrasing. Anyway, so they go and they see Gray Cooper. And we see him and his wife. And they're trying to like getting some information back and forth. We see he got this watch. We find out that Delilah's the one that bought him that watch. There was this movie that was done, and there was a soundtrack, and she had kind of the whole Whitney Houston bodyguard situation. That whole thing. And remember, her career was plummeting and nothing was selling. But that was selling really good at one point. So when the sales were good, she actually bought Gray that watch. It was the same kind of watch that the guy who did the shooting had. So naturally, it's looking like Gray may have did this. Gray may have actually got all this going. So we're going on and on and on and on and on with this. Next thing you know, Lucifer gets to playing around with these people. We meet Gray's wife. Gray and the wife, they're going back and forth. They end up telling the secret that he was fucking Delilah. The wife is like, that's all right. Who cares? Because I'm fucking the goddamn bodyguard. And this, that, and the other. So the bodyguard and Gray get to fighting, baby. They going back and forth. Next thing you know, Chloe said, fuck all this shit. Arrest them all three. Because as ridiculous as they are, they got to have something to do with it. So that was that. So Gray's saying, no. The one to be looking at is Jimmy. Shit, don't be looking at me, look at Jimmy. So they're sitting there and they're going through this, that, thing, and the other, and on and on and on. Then we got Lucifer sitting down with Chloe, and they're having a little conversation. And then something flashes on TV. That's when Chloe sees that the guy who did the shooting actually had the watch. Jimmy's number was actually in the guy's phone, as well as Tuval's number was in the phone, because he was the drug dealer for everybody. So she's like, Gray is not the one that put the hit out on Chloe. And when on the television, after she had died, that album sale, like literally it's only been a day or two, the album sales was going through the roof over that soundtrack. Only person left that would be getting royalties is Jimmy. So they had to go see Jimmy. So they go to see Jimmy. Jimmy's saying, he didn't do anything, this, that, thing, and the other. They're like, you're lying. You're lying. And Lucifer ends up pulling it out of him. So Lucifer's like, so you ordered her to be killed. And you also gave a watch, an expensive watch, to the drug dealer and all this shit. So Lucifer was going to fuck him up and make him pay. He was like ready to get him. So next thing you know, they're going through this whole thing. Jimmy done pulled a gun on Lucifer and all this here. So in the meantime, between time, naturally Chloe shoots Jimmy's ass down. Bam, 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 lays his ass out. Lucifer's like, why would you do that? And she's like, because he was getting ready to kill you. And he's like, I told you I'm immortal. He can't kill me. I was going to fuck his ass up. And she's like, I don't think he's going to be worried about it too much. She said, oh, this, that, thing, and the other. He's like, I ain't worried about his soul. I was fucking his ass up. So I'm paraphrasing, y'all. So they go through all that. Well, while they're having this little argument, Lucifer and Chloe, Jimmy ain't dead. Jimmy shoots the fucking shit out of Chloe and takes her. She about to go. She about to die. So Lucifer's face is like cracked, because now he done fell for Chloe. He got a little thing for Chloe now. So he's down there. He told her, Don, you ain't going to die. I ain't going to let you die. My father can't have you just yet. Not yet. We got things to do. He's sweet on her. And he like Trixie. I done already told y'all. So he turns around and Jimmy is just shooting. He's steady shooting. And she's like fading in and out, trying not to die. And she's like, he's shooting the shit out of Lucifer. Lucifer go over there. He grabs Jimmy's ass up off that motherfucking ground and takes Jimmy and bashes his head into a mirror, and then turns around and turns his head to the mirror and then shows his real face to Jimmy. And he just scared Jimmy to fucking death. And he tortured Jimmy the way he wanted to. Next thing you know, we actually see Chloe waking up in the hospital and all of this. And she's talking back and forth. And she's like, how long I've been out? This, that, thing, and the other. He told her 3 days, but he was lying, clowning. Back and forth. And basically, he's telling her, we got some work to do. We're going to be partners. I'm going to help you out with some stuff. This, that, thing, and the other. So this is the whole way that the show's going to go. She is a cop. Lucifer can't read her. He can't do none of his stuff works on her for some reason, and he can't figure out why. And so it's basically, and then there's more turmoil between him and the other Dark Angel. The other Dark Angel told him, I would love to get a war started. So they got a little thing going. They gonna go at each other. And so it's basically, and then we see as they say the weeks come, Lucifer is basically going to be starting to become kind of human because he done fell in love with Chloe. That's what this is all based around. So it's Lucifer, but Lucifer is actually going to be good. He's turning good, and he's having humanity, and he's in love with a human woman, and all of this. This show is not going to last. I really don't think this show's going to last. It's too much satire, and it's gonna be too cheesy. I just think it's gonna be too cheesy. Now I'll watch because it's funny. The shit that Lucifer does is funny, and he's sexy as hell, and he's just funny because he's just so damn arrogant that it's hilarious. But this is not what I tuned in for. I was looking for demons and dark magic and shit like that. Don't judge me, but that's what I was looking for, and what I got is satire. So I don't think this is going to last. I think it's going to be shut off of the air. I don't think it's going to last at all. I really don't. But that's it. That's all I got. So, oh, and Trixie come running in there. Lucifer. You know, she all into it. A mess. So that's it, y'all. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You know how that all works. And I will see you guys next week. We'll see where they go with this next week. All right, guys.